Good morning, students. Today we'll see the remaining part of first chapter Gravitation of Science and Technology Part 1. The first topic of this is Earth's gravitational force. Now, will the velocity of stone thrown vertically upward remains constant or will it change with time? How will it change? Why doesn't the stone move up all the time? Why does it fall down after reaching a certain height? What does its maximum height depends on? Let us find out the answer of these questions. You know that the earth attracts every object near it towards itself because of the gravitational force. The center of mass of the earth is situated at its center, so the gravitational force on any object due to the earth is always directed towards the center. Because of this, force on objects falls directly downward on the earth. Similarly, when we throw a stone vertically upward, this force tries to pull it down and reduce its velocity due to this constant downward pull. The velocity becomes zero after a while. The pull continues to be exerted and the stone starts moving vertically downward toward the center of the earth under its influence. According to Newton's law of gravitation, every object attracts every other object. Thus, if the earth attracts an apple toward itself, the apple also attracts the earth towards itself with the same force. Why then does the apple fall toward the earth but the earth does not move towards the apple? The gravitational force due to the earth also acts on the moon, because of which it revolves around the earth. Similar situation exists for the artificial satellites orbiting the earth. The moon and the artificial satellites orbit the earth. The earth attracts them towards itself, but unlike the falling apple, they do not fall on the earth. Why? This is because of the velocity of the moon and the satellite along their orbit. If this velocity was not there, they would have been fallen on the earth. Earth's gravitational acceleration. The earth exerts gravitational force on object near it. According to Newton's second law of motion, force acting on body results in its acceleration. Thus, the gravitational force due to the earth on the body results in its acceleration. This is called acceleration due to gravity and is denoted by g. Acceleration is a vector. As a gravitational force on any object due to the earth is directed toward the center of the earth, the direction of the acceleration due to gravity is also directed towards the center of the earth, that is vertically downward. Value of g on the surface of the earth. We can calculate the value of g by using Newton's universal law of gravitation for an object of mass m situated at a distance r from the center of the earth. The law of gravitation gives F is equal to gmm upon r square. This is equation number 3. M is the mass of the earth. F is equal to mg, equation number 4. From 3 and 4, mg is equal to gmm upon r square. So g is equal to gm upon r square, equation number 5, and g is equal to g into m upon r square, capital R square, equation number 6. Now the unit of g in SI unit is ms, meter per second square. Mass and radius of the earth are 6 into 10 raised to 24 kg and 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 meter respectively. So g is equal to 6.67 into 10 raised to minus 11 into 6 into 10 raised to 24 upon 6.4 into 10 raised to 6 whole square, that gives 9.77 meter per second square, equation number 7. So this acceleration depends only on the mass and radius of the earth, and so the acceleration due to gravity at a given point on the earth is the same for all objects. It does not depend on the properties of the object. Variation in value of g. First, change along the surface of the earth. Will the value of g be the same everywhere on the surface of the earth? The answer is no. The reason is the shape of the earth is not exactly spherical, and so the distance of the point on the surface of the earth from its center differ somewhat from place to place. Due to its rotation, earth bulges at the equator and flatter at the poles. Its radius is largest at the equator and smallest at the pole. The value of g is thus highest, that is 9.832 meter per second at the pole, and decrease slowly with its latitude. It is lowest 9.78 meter per second at the equator. Change with the height. As we go above the earth's surface, the value of r in equation 5 increases and the value of g decreases. However, the decrease is rather small for heights which are small in comparison to the earth's radius. For example, remember that the radius of the earth is 6400 km. If an aeroplane is flying at the height 10 km above the surface of the earth, its distance from the earth's surface changes from 6400 km to 6410 km, and the change in the value of g due to it is negligible. On the other hand, when we consider an artificial satellite orbiting the earth, we have to take into account the change in the value of g due to the large change in the distance of the satellite from the center of the earth. Some typical heights and values of the g at these heights are given in the following table. C. Change with depth. The value of g also changes as we go inside the earth. The value of r in equation 5 decrease, and one would think that the value of g should increase as per the formula. However, the part of the earth which contribute toward the gravitational force felt by the object also decreases, which means that the value of m to be used in the equation 5 also decreases. As a combined result of change in r and m, the value of g decreases as we go deep inside the earth. Every planet and satellite has different mass and radius. Hence, according to equation 6, the value of g on their surface are different. On the moon, it is about 1/1/6 of the value of the earth. As a result, using the same amount of the force, we can jump 6 times higher on the moon as compared to that on the earth. Mass and weight. Mass is the amount of matter present in the object. The SI unit of the mass is kilogram. Mass is a scalar quantity. Its value is same everywhere. Its value does not change even when we go to the another planet. According to Newton's first law, it is the measure of the inertia of an object. Higher the mass, higher is the inertia. Weight. The weight of an object is defined as the force which the earth attracts the object. The force F on an object of the mass m on the surface of the earth can be written using equation number 4, that is weight W is equal to F is equal to m into g, where g is equal to gm upon r square. Weight being a force, its SI unit is Newton. Also, the weight being a force is vector quantity and its direction is towards the center of the earth. As the value of g is not same everywhere, the weight of an object changes from place to place, though its mass is constant everywhere. Gravitational waves. Waves are created on the surface of water when we drop a stone into it. Similarly, you must have seen the wave generated on a string when both its ends are held in hand and it is shaken. Light is also a type of the wave called the electromagnetic wave. Gamma rays, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, infrared rays, microwave, and radio waves are all different types of electromagnetic waves. Astronomical objects emit these waves and we receive them using our instrument. All our knowledge about the universe has been obtained through these waves. Gravitational waves are very different type of waves. They have been called the waves on the fabric of space-time. Einstein predicted their existence in 1916. These waves are very weak and it is very difficult to detect them. Scientists have constructed extremely sensitive instruments to detect the gravitational waves emitted by astronomical sources. Among these, LIGO, Laser Interferometric Gravitational Wave Observatory, is the prominent one. Exactly after 100 years of their prediction, scientists detected these waves coming from an astronomical source. Indian scientists have contributed significantly in this discovery. This discovery has opened the new path to obtain information about the universe. Free fall. We know that the force of gravity due to the earth act on each and every object. When we were holding the stone in our hand, the stone was experiencing this force. But it was balanced by a force that we were applying on it in the opposite direction. As a result, the stone remains at rest. Once we release the stone from our hands, the only force that acts on it is the gravitational force of the earth and the stone falls down under its influence. Whenever an object moves under the influence of the force of gravity alone, it is said to be falling freely. Thus, the released stone is in free fall. In free fall, the initial velocity of the object is zero and goes on increasing due to the acceleration due to gravity of the earth. During free fall, the frictional force to air opposes the motion of the object and the buoyant force also acts on the object. Thus, free fall is possible only in a vacuum. For a free falling object, velocity on reaching the earth and the time taken for it can be calculated by using Newton's equation of motion. For free fall, the initial velocity u is equal to 0 and the acceleration a is equal to g. So we can write the equations as v is equal to gt, s is equal to half gt square, v square is equal to 2gs. For calculating the motion of an object thrown upward, acceleration is negative, that is in a direction opposite to the velocity, and it is taken to be minus g. The magnitude of g is same, but the velocity of the object decreases because of its negative acceleration. The moon and the artificial satellites are moving only under the influence of the gravitational field of the earth, thus they are in free fall. Gravitational potential energy. We have studied potential energy in the last standard. The energy stored in an object because of its position or state is called potential energy. This energy is relative and increase as we go to the greater heights from the surface of the earth. We had assumed that the potential energy of an object of mass m at a height h from the ground is mgh and on the ground it is 0. When h is small compared to the radius r of the earth, we can assume g to be constant and can use the above formula mgh. But for large values of h, the value of g decreases with increase in h. For an object at infinite distance from the earth, the value of g is 0 and earth's gravitational force does not act on the object. So, it is more appropriate to assume the value of potential energy to be 0 there. Thus, the smaller distance, that is heights, the potential energy is less than 0, that is it is negative. When an object is at height h from the surface of the earth, its potential energy is minus gmm upon r plus h. Here m and r are the earth's mass and radius respectively. Escape velocity. We have seen that when a ball is thrown upward, its velocity decreases because of the gravitation of the earth. The velocity becomes zero after reaching a certain height, and after that the stone starts falling down. Its maximum height depends on its initial velocity. According to Newton's third equation of motion, v square is equal to u square plus 2as, where v is the final velocity of the ball, that is equal to 0, and a is equal to minus g. Therefore 0 equal to u square plus 2 into minus gs, and maximum height of the ball is s is equal to minus u square upon 2g. Thus, higher the initial velocity u, the larger is the height reached by the ball. The reason for this is that the higher the initial velocity, the ball will oppose the gravity of the earth more, and larger will be the height to which it can reach. We have seen above that the value of g keeps decreasing as we go higher above the surface of the earth. Thus the force pulling the ball downward decreases as the ball goes up. If we keep increasing the initial velocity of the ball, it will reach larger and larger heights, and above a particular value of initial velocity of the ball is able to overcome the downward pull by the earth and can escape the earth forever and will not fall back on the earth. This velocity is called escape velocity. We can determine its value by using the law of conservation of energy as follows. An object going vertically upward from the surface of the earth, having an initial velocity equal to the escape velocity, escapes the gravitational force of the earth. The force of the gravity, being inversely proportional to the square of the distance, becomes zero only at infinite distance from the earth. This means that for the object to be free from the gravity of the earth, it has to reach infinite distance from the earth. That is, the object will come to rest at infinite distance and will stay there. The spacecrafts which are sent to the moon or other planets have to have their initial velocity larger than the escape velocity, so that they can overcome Earth's gravitational attraction and can travel to these objects. Thank you, students. We will meet soon for the science and technology part 2. Bye.